Welcome
Welcome to the riff
with
with
Grace
Melissa and
and Melissa.
Grace.
We
I
spent
think
3 minutes on
uh,
that.
yes, we did, and I think it'll only continue to improve.
Yeah, it was. We're gonna go with that being an improvement from the last time.
I think it was. I thought we were more on key. We harmonized a little better that time.
Yeah, and the harmony is what counts. The
Yeah,
words secondary.
secondary. Who cares about those?
I know, but I'm excited. It's my second episode.
It's Melissa's second episode. That's right, everybody. And boy, oh boy, do we have a good show in store for you today. We have a special guest who, even though her name is clearly on the screen, will remain anonymous until introduced.
She is
Just
exciting.
to build suspense. Melissa, how was your week?
My week was good. I mean, we did lose the game, but I think we lost in the way the closest to a win you can get and still lose.
How absurd. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, it is currently April 6th, and UCLA made it all the way to the Final Four in March Madness for basketball. If you didn't know, that's what March Madness was, basketball. And we were so close. And then Gonzaga threw the shot of their life.
40 feet. 40 feet.
Was it 40 feet?
That's what I heard. It was
literally like a half court. He just chucked it, made it in.
And it like straight in. I mean, off the backboard, whatever.
But like,
probably could have done it only net if we had been given the option, but
it was so devastating.
I know. I sat down. I couldn't remain standing.
I was at a friend's and I had to walk back, and I loved how on the walk back there were so many police cars set up all over Westwood and so many people in their gear walking back being like, fuck Gonzaga, fuck Gonzaga. And then I still heard like fireworks and music, and I'm like, go home. We lost. It's done.
We might have been, there might have been a bit of bad karma from having the police on our side, because why were they going to be here if they didn't think we were going to win? I'm going to blame it on that.
I'm going to blame it on the police. They jinxed us.
It's always the police.
You heard it here first. It's always the police. I just wanted to share a story really quickly that happened to me today, and I'm just really excited about it because of how horrible of a story it is. So I thought I would share.
I'm ready. I'm primed.
So if y'all didn't know, I'm in Spanish 3, which is just, my strong suit. As y'all know, I'm super good at things.
That took 2 before.
That is 2 before 1. Yeah. So I was in the middle of class and I really had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, I'm just going to turn my camera off, bring my computer in the bathroom, and I'm just going to go, and it's fine. And of course, like in that moment when I decided to go to the bathroom, my teacher's like, we're going to do breakout rooms. And I was like, oh no. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to keep my camera off during the breakout room. And if I have to talk, I have to talk. And then I thought I lucked out. We got sent to breakout rooms, and I was put in a breakout room with 3 other people, and nobody turned their cameras on, and everyone was muted. Okay. And I was like, we're safe. Nobody gives a fuck, clearly, and we're safe. And then my teacher popped into the breakout room. Oh no. And I was like, should be illegal. This is so awkward. Like, somebody needs to say something, but no one was saying anything. And I didn't want her to think like that I was just like MIA. So then I proceed to be like, I'm just going to unmute and be like, hola, professor. But something tragic in that moment happened. I was sitting on the toilet and my computer was on my lap, and I go to click unmute, and I clicked the camera and I revealed myself sitting on the toilet. I will say the camera angle was like this. So like, you couldn't see below me.
Is it clearly bathroom? Or is it?
It's like pink tiles behind me with like a towel on one side.
Some people have that in their living room.
Some people have that in their living rooms. It was clear that I was in a bathroom, but luckily I have really good reflexes. So as soon as I saw my face pop onto the screen, as soon as I could, quickly stopped my video. Okay. And my professor just kind of smiled and then she like left. And I just don't, and I don't know. I feel like I moved fast enough to where maybe it was just like
She might have blinked.
she might have blinked. I don't know, but my heart has never dropped literally faster. It was definitely one of the most
It's
just upsetting.
I mean, at least at the very least, I think that she's got to give you extra participation points because if she was there, she knows that you were willing to like put yourself out there. You were intending to start the conversation, even though you were inconvenienced and not in the ideal position to do so. And
Thank you.
yeah, everyone else was probably just sitting at their desks, but you were really like you were ready. And also, if she did see it, at least she showed you some mercy, you know? She left.
She literally did. She said, I got you, Grace, and I'm gonna go and pretend like nothing ever happened. That is my story. Nothing ever, I mean, I never got called out for it. I don't know. Everyone could have just been like silently laughing behind their black screen. But it was just definitely one of those moments where you're like, this wouldn't happen to me. This doesn't happen to me. It happened to me. And it could happen to you guys. So just this is a cautionary tale.
Yeah, I really do think they need to move the buttons farther apart because they're very different functions.
They are such different functions, like night and day. I agree with that. We should write Zoom a letter.
We should write Zoom a letter. I'm sure they're getting none of those right now. Like
None of them. I'm sure Zoom's honestly their offices have been pretty quiet.
yeah, just recently.
Just as of recent, yeah.
So, wow. I mean, you're a survivor. You've been through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was the most eventful thing that's happened to me in a minute. I mean, the Gonzaga game, exciting, you know, the loss, devastating, a lot of ups and downs. But this was truly like a moment I will remember for a long time.
This one I'm sure had a better adrenaline rush too than anything.
Oh, 100%. That half court shot had nothing on me basically revealing I'm just sitting on the toilet during class. So
we all are though, so
we all are. That's my story. That's the most exciting thing that's happened to me all week, maybe all month.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with that.
Yeah. On that
amazing note, do you think it's time that we introduce our guest?
I think it's time that we introduce our guest.
Guys, can we get a big, juicy round of applause for our guest, the
president.
one, the only, our president,
Jessica.
Jessica Block.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for
Jessica.
coming.
Thanks for being on the show with us. How's your spring quarter starting off? Hopefully better than mine.
I was gonna say less eventful than yours, yeah, but it's been okay, you know, last quarter of the ever.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
What a moment.
For everybody at home, Jessica is a senior, and I guess this is your last quarter.
It is indeed. I will say it is different from any quarter I've ever taken in that it is no exams and 15 essays, which is both the least number of exams I've ever had to take in a quarter and the most essays I've ever had to write in a quarter. Which I guess, you know, is 2 firsts in the last stretch here.
Is that 5 per class? They really are doing that to you?
No, it's actually 10 in one class, 4 in another, and 1 in one of them.
What class? So I know to steer so clear of it.
Is Japanese civilizations.
I wasn't gonna.
Civilization singular is one.
Why are you? Why?
My last GE, man. I tried to take Scan 50, but I couldn't get in even as a last quarter senior.
For your last GE, you're taking a class that requires 10 essays?
But nothing else. No other assignments.
I have one.
There's 10 essays.
Yeah, it's pretty sucky. At least they're only 3 pages long.
That shouldn't even be a GE. Also,
yeah, it's intense.
I want to, like, the fact that you said you couldn't even get into Scan 50, I really want to know who is in Scan 50. Like, I'd want to see the
I'll tell
composition
you.
of that.
I'll tell you. It's first quarter freshmen because there's spots reserved over the summer. It's Regent scholars and it's athletes. But it's probably not Regent scholars. It's probably athletes.
Yeah, I feel like if
Wow.
you're a Regent scholar, you're probably not dying to take Scan 50.
Exactly. You're probably like, you have a passion for learning. And so you take classes that are going to challenge you academically.
You're going to take the Japanese class that you're in right now to take 10 essays.
It's a good, I'm learning a lot. We just started the imperial portion of Japanese history, but I have to say, I don't know if you guys have seen the History of Japan video on YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, is
Okay.
the one that's like the fast talking man?
And then he sings some stuff too. I
Yes,
really
I love
miss
it too.
that. Right? Because like this guy's talking and he's like, yeah, and then there was an emperor. And I'm like, I would give so much money to whoever pays this man to make him say, and then there was an emperor when he like is it lecturing?
Literally.
Oh my.
I digress though. I know you guys don't want to hear more about my Japanese history class.
No, actually, I kind of had something somehow, even though it's such a niche topic,
Ooh.
I actually like as of like to yesterday had something relevant to that subject happen to me. Basically,
Hey.
like
Quite an
I
event
think it was a
happened today.
GE or it was a something that I needed to satisfy. I think it was a GE. Last year, it was like a Japanese history class. Maybe it was even
Is the same one?
wait, what's it called again?
Japanese civilization?
I literally think that we might.
J50?
So
I think so.
Was the guy's name? Am I supposed to drop professor's name? I feel like people
Go
know.
ahead.
Is it the guy Professor Duffy?
that's what Bruinwalk is for.
That
He's
doesn't
got like a British-ish accent
No.
that's not British.
But
no.
does that mean that one professor teaching that course gives 10 essays and the other one teaching it doesn't give enough that you would even remember for a moment that you took it?
Literally. That's super unfortunate. But I literally think I took the same class as you because it was like a history of Japan class. And
This is the one.
that's crazy to me. Definitely did not do 10 3-page essays. But the reason why this was relevant in my life as of yesterday was because I'm currently taking a history of animations class.
Ooh.
Which is actually super fun. I totally recommend it. Really cool. But for whatever reason, like we were talking about the subject of conflict, and my professor brought up like atomic bombs, and he was like,
As one does.
that's one form of conflict.
The
He
main
was like,
example.
how he asked everybody how many miles, like what radius do you think an atomic bomb decimates? Like, does it decimate like a 1 mile radius of a city, 5 or 25? And I was like, duh. In my history of Japanese class, we learned all about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it's definitely a 5 mile radius. And I know this for a fact. But then the chat box started lighting up with just 25s. Everyone was like 25, 25, 25. And I was like, now I don't know anymore. And I doubted myself. And then the professor goes, it's actually 5. And then as soon as he said that, sent 5 into the chat.
Hell yeah, Grace.
So guys, this is a life lesson. Never doubt yourself. But anyways, so I literally was just thinking about my history of Japanese class yesterday. And now look at this.
Amazing. I love when it just applies to all facets of life.
It does. You never know when you're gonna need it.
And when you're gonna whip out that Japanese history.
Yep.
Exactly. Justify taking that class too. With that example, you can, and like they say, you're not supposed to, G's are worthless, but we've had 2 examples.
We have
recently. So
Melissa, wait, this is kind of fun, especially now that Jess is graduating. Let's go through our fave GEs that we've taken, or maybe our least fave, or maybe the most impactful in our memories.
Okay.
Anthro 4 is pretty good.
I think I took that one too.
Everyone takes Anthro. I don't,
Yeah.
I need to get in on it. Is it?
I mean, Jess, you take it away.
I feel like anthropology, and I apologize to anthropologists everywhere, but what it is taking things that everyone knows and giving them names that are long words. Like, you know, thanks, man. It's like I'm having a conversation with you guys right now, right? An anthropologist would be like, so this is a conversation. And there's one person talking and another, and they're taking turns.
And then you're supposed to go, whoa, I never looked at it in that way.
Exactly.
Wow.
And there can be side conversations between two other people or between one of those people and one of the people in the actual conversation. And there's names for each of those participants, like anthropological correct names for each of those participants in a conversation. That's like encapsulates kind of what anthropology does. They also like go to random places and live with them for a while and then write down all the things they do culturally.
It's a lot of just people observing people. And then
Mm-hmm.
making as complicated of a word possible to describe such simple tasks. I swear to God, it was my first big lecture at UCLA ever, I think was Anthro 4. And my professor.
Wait, me too. I took
Really?
it fall quarter freshman year and it was my first class.
Oh my, literally same. Yeah, literally same.
Oh my God, twinning.
Twinning.
Was yours in Fowler?
Mine was in Young.
Well.
It was in Young. Close enough. I just remember so vividly sitting here and I was like, whoa, this woman, my professor, is extremely brilliant, really smart, but just like, I swear to God, her definitions for these words that just were completely made up, like definitely just weren't even, there'd literally be like the red squiggly line under the words because in her slides, because like definitely just weren't in the dictionary. And then her definitions would just be even more complicated than like the word itself. And I'm like, are you just trying to say like, literally like people talking? Like, is that what this is? Like, what are you saying? Anyways.
It kind of
go ahead.
It kind of sounds like people who were like, I want to be a professor, but I'm not really good at neuroscience. So you know what I can do? I can talk about people. That's something I know about. And I'm going to make it sound like academia so that they'll let me stay. No, once again, no hate to anthropologists, but
just spills a bunch of hate and is like, but no hate.
It does cancel out.
You're onto something, Melissa. You're calling a spade is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, telling it how you sees it.
I mean, like neuroscience is definitely a science that like it's like a subject that makes sense. Like you got to study the brain. Humans were literally so bored that we were like, I don't know, what about us?
That seems pretty cool. Although neuroscience is also kind of like that. But
it is. What about
focused?
Whoa, it is like what about us though? Because like we're the brain. Like we are a brain.
That's like.
I feel like the person who came up with neuroscience. Oh, sorry. What?
No, I just said sounds like a Christopher Nolan film. But
literally.
I was gonna say it sounds like the person who came up with neuroscience and the person who came up with anthropology are like really similar people. It's just like the neuroscience person just has this messed up side where they wanted to cut people open. Like,
yes, a neuroscientist is just a little bit scarier version of an anthropologist.
Exactly. The anthropologist is like, I'm going to study my peers, and the neuroscientist is like, I'm going to look in their brains.
Yep. And what about it? And then make it a really hard field filled with science. I don't know.
For all my talking, I kind of would rather be friends with the anthropologist than neuroscience.
You know what?
Come around to anthropologists.
Yeah, they're back in the in group.
In the in group. Moving on from the amazing discussion of neuroscientists versus anthropologists. If y'all don't know, JESS is funny and does comedy and is a huge part of the shenanigans community. Jess, can you talk to our lovely viewers a little bit about your credentials?
My credentials?
Yes.
Well, I did get CPR certified at some point. But I'm pretty sure it is no longer valid. So I do not have any like official credentials.
Okay.
However,
but you're close to one.
You're close.
Yeah, I had one at some point, and that's that's what really matters. It's still here in my heart.
In your heart.
Yeah, along with the CPR. Anyway, it's funny. I am the president of Shenanigans. I was the head of
Secret Services outside. They're out of frame.
They literally are just out of frame. Just cannot see them.
Mm-hmm. That's
what dues go to.
What it do be.
Yep.
Yeah, dues go to my Secret Service. If my Secret Service were an improv coach.
Yep. You have an improv coach?
No. Improv has improv coaches, and that's what dues go to.
Right.
We're all okay.
Among other things. It's not just for those of you who are in shenanigans and are not an improv, it's not just for that. It's also headliners. It's also props for sketch. It's equipment for digital. So don't you worry.
She would know because she's the president.
Yeah.
At least you'd hope. And then I was also head of digital for a year and a little bit. And then we recently got new digital heads, which is awesome. So shout out to Minu and Sophie for picking up the old digital mantle.
How is digital? Do you miss it? What's happening?
Well, I'm still in it. I was just there actually earlier today. But do I miss being digital head? I mean, I still kind of do all the same stuff I did before except run meetings. So I'm very much enjoying it. Digital is kind of popping off this quarter. We are attempting a musical.
Whoa, explain
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Our working title, which may not be the actual title, I don't know if actually I want to put this out here, but I'll just tell you the acronym is, I'm going to write this down so I get it right because I don't actually know.
Take your time.
I think the point of acronyms is that you need to write them down.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. So the acronym is right here. My handwriting's really bad, so I'm going to read that out loud. It says ZSZTZTZ.
Oh.
That's the name of the musical.
I thought that was 2 letters. But is it 3? There's 3
there was an S in there, but my handwriting's really bad.
It's my eyes, not. Okay, I see it.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just tell you the title. It's
well,
Zoom
now I'm
School.
excited. The suspense.
Zoom School, Zoomsicle, the Zoomsicle, the Zoom.
A
lot of sickles.
I love that.
It's a play on High School Musical, the musical, the series.
I was gonna say, it reminds me of that. Is it a similar plot? Can you give us a synopsis or a brief log line?
Yeah, I got you. So basically what this is it's a Zoom musical wherein there is a class of students and they each have their little like idiosyncrasies and things they do that we've all seen people do in Zoom classes, like, you know, like being muted with their camera off the whole time, or like accidentally turning their camera on when they're sitting on the toilet, or like
subtweeted.
Kidding. That's not one of them, but wouldn't that be funny? Or like, you know,
you can use yeah.
right. I'm right. I'm
Life is art. Art is life.
I just wrote it down.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, like things like that. People who are really eager to like actually be involved. People who are really mad at the people who are really eager to actually be involved.
Representation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got someone who's literally just tap dancing through the whole class. What else is there? We got someone who's got literally every single piece of tech known to man, like 26 monitors and like AirPods and headphones that they're wearing, like both of them, and like there's also like
I love that.
Yeah.
Are you guys
So how are you guys gonna like attack shooting it?
I think we're starting off by writing all the songs, which we have some of them done, and I've enlisted some help from people from, I'm also an acapella, so I've enlisted some help from acapella people with transcribing a lot of the songs. But I've written the melodies myself, and then I've written the lyrics with some of the people in digital, like collabing. And once we have all the songs written, we're going to record all of them. Grace, you know, because you were in 2:30 a.m. how this process kind of goes. We're going to record it.
We're talking about that next.
I'm down. We talked about it last time, but I'm always down to talk about it again.
We need to bring it back.
Always, yeah. We need a new wave of people just checking out what the heck we're talking about. Either way, so we're going to write all the songs. We're going to record all the songs, and then we are going to record the video, which I'm thinking will be a mixture of like people filming themselves separately and also people like shooting on Zoom, because obviously we wanted to have the feel of a classroom. We may have some, I know we've done this in the past when we need like a larger shot of people where there's more people in the room. We'll use a shot of like a stand-up meeting, because that'll be more like 20 people. It could conceivably be a discussion, because digital is usually pretty insular and it's like 6 people in a meeting. It's not fully believable that it's a class, so we'll see what we do there. But
awesome. So you said stand up. Are we going to be notified if we're being included, or are you guys going to?
Oh, yeah. What I usually do is I'll ask Michael and Meher ahead of time, and then they say yes, and then I say, hey, meeting, here's what we're doing. And then if people don't want to be seen, they're welcome to have their cameras off, but it still will make it look like fuller.
Nice. Okay. I'm just very not like anytime there's a picture taken of me that I didn't know was taken, I always have a double chin. So I just
Oh my
gotta
God, no,
guard
we would
against
tell
that,
you.
know.
It wouldn't just be like using my recording of my set from like a stand-up thing and being like, haha, now this is a classroom. It'd be like, okay, everyone stand up, do this with your face, and I'm gonna record for 10 seconds.
That would be pretty baller though. It's give it this like a ground avant-garde feel. But I had one other question. Is given that this is based on the High School Musical, the musical thing, will you guys have a spin-off side plot of pop culture drama between your two main characters and various songs about each other?
Wait, that would be amazing. We can have a song called like CPR License and a song called You Never Tell the Truth.
CPR.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's a play on driver's license and lie, lie, lie. And then we can have another one come up instead of deja vu. We can just call it like, oh, we can make it really, really obvious. And be like Veja du or Bujade. Yeah, something really close.
Just really quickly, just a side note, how's everyone feeling about Olivia Rodriguez? Because I feel like everyone's starting to develop their own opinions of her.
Rodrigo. And I think it's okay. I'm a big fan of High School Musical, the series.
Yeah.
I think she, like, semi-ironically, I actually do think it's a pretty good show.
That's what I keep hearing. It's kind of scary, but continue.
No, here's the thing. I watched it because I was like, I want to watch this and laugh so hard at how bad it is. And then I was like really invested.
Okay, literally, Loki, I went through the same. I will say I did have to skip through some things that I just couldn't care about, but like the majority of it, I was like, okay, it's like Loki kind of good.
Yeah, no, like the drama, they approach topics that the original High School Musical like never would have touched, and they do it with some air of finesse. And I like that they tried, and they did a pretty good job. To answer your question, the opinion on Olivia Rodrigo, I think she, I really liked Driver's License. I thought it was a very I feel like it's relatable to literally anyone because everyone's been like, breakups are hard.
It really
and if you haven't, like you've felt something like that,
right?
And the she's sitting at a car.
Yeah, I said it came on the radio and I was driving home and I was like, she made some points in suburbia.
Points were made.
Yeah, excuse me. Every time I get in a car and someone does the thing and the car starts going like ding, ding, ding. Literally in my head I hear the I got my job, and I'm like, she has ruined me for car beepy noises, but that's okay. But I don't hate her as a person. I do think it's kind of ridiculous that she has to deal with her entire social life being like splayed on the internet. And same with Joshua Bassett. Like no matter what he did or didn't do, like I feel bad for the guy because there's probably like hordes of people being like, you little stinky boy, you messed with our Olivia, and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure do not envy his comment section. But I was Olivia Rodrigo is a weird experience for me because she's like the first like famous person who's distinctly younger than me.
I feel that.
Yeah, so it's a process. I'm still processing, but I gotta say I like it. It sounds cool, but Deja Vu I was listening to and I was kind of like, I feel like if she was my little sister, we could have a conversation about this and maybe not put it in a song exactly. Because I'm not sure if we're targeting the right people here, but it's also a bop, but not, you're a little younger, so it's a little throwback.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Deja Vu, I liked it, like it was catchy, but I felt like there were parts of it that were just so like young in a way that I was like, what, like I taught you about Billy Joel. It's like everyone has heard of Billy Joel.
Okay. My opinion is, off the bat, in regards to her being young thing, this might just like because I'm the worst might filter in subconsciously into my like opinion of her just because she's super successful and younger than me, so then immediately I'm like not a fan because I'm like, well, why are you doing better than me?
It's like the Justin Bieber effect,
It's I'm like, well, why? Okay, whatever. And like, ooh, she has like #1 on the Billboard charts. Good for her.
I got an A on my last paper, so
Yeah.
That's
I
even.
passed Spanish 1.
Yeah. Both of those things that you
Yeah.
guys mentioned are just as impressive.
Yes.
If not more, because you had to write a paper and pass a class, and that's hard.
That's hard. But anyways, I think like her music, okay, driver's license, for one, that's just like not my like genre of choice. So like, but if I look at it like objectively, I guess it's like pretty, it's like catchy, but I don't know, like I wasn't, I thought it was honestly super overrated. I'm like, this isn't like wowing me. And then it for Deja Vu, again, I'm like, it's a little like Taylor Swift copying-esque if you really listen to it. And I know she's like
Oh
a
yeah.
Taylor fan, so like
Yeah.
maybe it's like influential in her music, but I just think I'm like, like, because what upsets me, I'm like, yeah, she's like pretty good. I don't think she's bad by any means at all. She's definitely extremely talented. I think she has a beautiful voice. But people keep comparing her. The comparison that I keep hearing is like, oh, she's like the new Lord. She's like Lord. She's like,
Mm.
now she's like, she's taking up Lord's current absence. And
I don't know if she's depressed enough for Lauren.
I'm like, Lord is literally, I'm a huge Lord fan. And I just think like, okay, just again, objectively, if you compare Lord's lyrics, because I think Olivia
Lord
is like
is so much darker.
Yeah.
and also just like more like poetic and like
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like Olivia will be like, I'm going to get strawberry ice cream, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is crazy. And
At
Lord,
the risk of, oh, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
and Lord like says like those great whites, they have big teeth, and it's like her like similes and metaphors, like I don't know. I'm like, bruh, there's no comparison. Like, where? She literally said, I got my driver's license last week. That is
Right.
just her talking to us. That is a sentence.
I mean, that is a style, right? So is the
Yes.
artist is talking to you. But I do
Yeah.
get what you're saying. And at the risk of starting a sentence like this, my a cappella group did Liability Reprise by
Oh
Lorde.
my god, so good.
And it was like it was beautiful. Like the chords are so nice, and like there aren't that many words involved, but because of the notes she chooses and the chords she chooses to like put with the words, there's like so much feeling behind it. So I get what you're saying, where Lord's like not minimalist, but like almost compared to Olivia Rodrigo when it comes to like telling you how she's feeling.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. To me, Lorde is like very just like
Atmospheric
so,
almost.
yeah, so like poetic and just conveys these emotions and in like a convoluted way, but it's like so beautifully done. Olivia is just like talking to you, and which is a style, but then you can't, it's like apples to oranges, like you can't compare the two, you know what I mean? Like
I like that we're keeping up the habit of saying that we are super support these people and then continuing to say our real opinion. I think it's working.
But it's all subjective.
Yeah,
I used to have such a problem doing that to Billie Eilish, and my friend kept pointing it out because I kept being like, I just love how she can like not use any breath support and yet it sounds good, but also it really doesn't sound like she uses any breath support, and that's pretty impressive.
And you're like, is that actually a compliment?
Yeah. My friend's like, Jessica, it sounds like you're saying Billie Eilish doesn't sing well. I'm like, no, I mean like it's catchy. I mean, she's very popular.
To me,
like,
that sounds. Sorry, go ahead. You go.
No, that was it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to assume. I was gonna say. I mean, to me, that sounded like just words in general. So you could have been saying anything because So you're safe.
I mean, I do like a lot of Billie Eilish's songs, but there was a point, and I think she's moved on from this, where like all of her singing to me just sounded like someone whispering in my ear, like, and I
don't like that. Just kidding.
No, it's not.
From
It's
a
not my
16-year-old
aesthetic
girl?
generally.
Probably
Like,
not
I'm
ideal.
a bad guy. I was like,
yeah, I will say I like I was like a huge Billie stan like in 2018. Her like newer stuff, I'm like not vibing with it as much, but like Copycat and like My Boy and Bellyache,
I love My Boy.
so good. I'm like, okay, I'm here for this.
So good. Also,
Now she's,
like that one's like kind of funky, and I'm a fan.
yes, now she's a little too like self-aware of like her brand of sadness. So
Yeah.
now like all she puts out is like this almost like too, I'm like, girl, we get it. You're sad and depressed and you don't need to like shove it down our throats with like these really dark and like I'm like, you're like, she's losing me. I'm like, it seems almost like not as genuine now. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's 'cause she
Yeah, like the
actually-
crying ink.
Yeah, just like but I will say I love that. I did love Party. What was it? What was that song called?
Is it When the Party's Over or
The
something?
Party's Over. I love
Love
that.
that song.
I love that song. But some
Me
of her
too.
new
Is that the ink crying one, or is it I
Yes.
Don't Need a Zanny or something?
That's another
I
one.
think she's done it more
Oh,
than
okay.
once.
She's
Oh,
done
okay.
it a lot. She likes crying with black
Yeah.
tears.
You
I
know
think
what?
the
More
problem-
power to her. I do
Yeah.
too. I sometimes I will just like draw with a little bit of like fountain pen right under my eye right before I think I'm gonna cry, just so I can be Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Yep,
Yeah.
why not?
I think that part of the problem is she's not actually depressed anymore. It kind of seems like, I mean, and I don't blame her. When you have money and success and purpose, you know, but you don't have to write about it anymore, I think is what she'll get
Yeah.
to hopefully eventually.
It could be funny if she like did a spoof of I Don't Need a Zanny, and she's like, I've got money, I've got purpose, I've got all this, I don't need another Grammy.
Oh shoot.
Okay.
Play on words.
It's kind of funny. And then she gets a
Tell it.
Grammy for that song because she's Billie Eilish.
Literally. Email the team,
Maybe
girl.
top
Email her
favorites.
team.
Yeah, we've sent out lots of emails so far in this show. We're gonna keep the
Yeah, who was the one
back.
we were supposed to email? Oh,
Zoom.
Will
um,
Ferrell too.
Will Ferrell
also
and Jim
Zoom.
Carrey.
There's
When you
one-
guys said you were gonna email Zoom, I literally couldn't stop thinking about send it to Zoom.
Oh my god. Yeah.
What-
So because last show we were discussing Harry Potter houses and we were curious
Ooh.
to know officially what houses Will Ferrell and Jim Carrey would be a part of. So
Jim Carrey would be a Slytherin.
do you think so?
I think so.
that was
Will
did you say
Ferrell.
that?
Will Ferrell, I'm feeling. Oh, it
This is
really
some
depends on
role.
the movie. Maybe Hufflepuff, maybe
He gives me a
Gryffindor.
Hufflepuff Gryffindor.
Yeah, yeah. But Jim Carrey gives me full on Slytherin vibes. Just
I
he
think-
looks devious always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little Ravenclaw.
Mm-mm.
No?
Maybe. I mean, maybe for you, but for me, full on Slytherin. Because when he looks at me, I get scared.
Interesting.
Not that I've ever been in the same room as him, but like through a screen, when he's like, I'm Jim
Yeah.
Carrey, I'm like, and I'm scared.
And I'm
I like that we've conquered the Gen Z market with the High School Musical talk, and now we're moving on to the millennial market with the Harry Potter talk. We just increasing our audience every second. So
every step of the way. You know the show, it's all subjective as one of our catchphrases.
Yeah. Now we just got to talk about traditional jazz, and we'll get those pre-baby boomers in there.
Yes. Well, moving on from more pop culture, because I literally can talk about pop culture for hours.
Yes.
Jess, so you're doing comedy obviously now, and you're about to graduate. So what are the plans moving forward after graduation?
Yeah.
Yep. I wish I knew. I think where we're going at this point is I'm like putting out feelers, reaching out to people I know, people I don't know that well, people who my family members know, and I'm just trying to talk to as many people as possible and get that networking. It feels
Networking.
gross, but it is necessary, and I'm just trying to find either an internship or a production assistant position or like a job for after graduation.
So entertainment is the route you're trying to go down.
Entertainment is the current route. I think what I have considered in life, and this is going to sound so lost, and that's because it is. We got entertainment, which is like the big main one. We got some form of like culinary branch,
Mm.
Really?
and we've got educational psychology.
Wow.
Mm.
Come on.
So those
I
are
think you
like
can blend those.
talented.
I think
yeah,
there's a
I
way
could
to
talk-
blend those.
I can make comedic YouTube videos about how to teach people to cook best.
Oh
Ah,
my gosh. Yes.
and
Wow,
maybe
I
like
could become the next Gusto. What's the guy's name?
Gustavo.
Gusto. Anyone can cook. That guy.
Anyone can cook. Wait,
And
so
I-
what major are you graduating with?
Linguistics and psychology, and a minor in cognitive science.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ooh.
Pretty like science
very
oriented.
yeah.
It's like North Campus science, because Ling and Psych is a linguistics major, and then cognitive science like is more science as much as psychology can be considered a hard science.
Right.
So
Well, hey, that's more STEM than I'll get in my life. So
I
still didn't
second
take a math
that.
class this whole time, so there you go.
I think that's a win. I think you're doing it right. You're getting a
I
little
made
bit
it through.
but without the least worst part. So as long as you get a job, got a lot to claim.
Oh yeah.
That's the hard part.
Maybe you could do like a food therapy kind of thing.
Could be. I would love to be on like BuzzFeed Tasty or something, or
Oh my
like
gosh, imagine, that'd be so much fun.
and like give like a comedy spin to BuzzFeed Tasty. Like that would be my ideal. I have applied to some
intern
BuzzFeed
there.
stuff. What?
Have you applied to internships at BuzzFeed?
Like a while ago. They haven't had internships that have been relevant to me since I've checked, because it's all been like software engineer, and I'm like, that is not me.
That is what is like dream in like the next 5 to 10 years, what would like your dream career be?
Oh my goodness. I don't really know specifically, but I think I would gravitate toward comedy writing for like a sitcom or for SNL.
Me too.
We gotta work together, man. We can help each other along the way. I feel like that's the thing I've learned the most is like you have to make friends and you have to help each other, because you are like the next generation of people that's gonna be that network that you're trying to get into.
Oh,
Someone's
totally.
gotta do it. So
I was just having that conversation the other day with my roommate, because what I realized is like now that I'm in company, I'm surrounded by all these people that are very like-minded, and we have pretty similar goals. Maybe some are more like theater oriented or whatever, or music, but everyone, for the most part, everyone's like trying to get into the entertainment industry. And as I'm like conversing with everyone, and we're getting closer, and we're all having these conversations about our career paths and stuff, and we're all talking about how we're applying for like literally all the same internships, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This is like already, like, we are already a network. You know what I mean? Like the like Shenanigans, like that is already a network. That's a very legit network that is going to be super relevant to us.
I'm excited too, because Shenanigans is very young, so we haven't yet had like that breakout person who was like, I was in Shenanigans when I was not famous.
Right.
But we have people who are trying.
Yeah,
that'll be the three of us, guys.
Oh yeah.
I
honestly, my money is probably on you, Grace.
Me?
Yeah.
Why? Oh my god, the way I'm so flattered.
Because your charisma is just infectious. And also I feel like, are you going for more of like a performance end of things or a writing end of things? Or yeah, kind of both? Kind of both. Okay, because I was thinking like, I feel like what the name people is gonna know. The name is people's gonna know is the person they're seeing. And I feel like if you're going for that side of things, like, and I'm sure you'll get it because you're fantastic. Like, I have full faith. I revised my dream job. My dream job is to write for your show.
Wow! The way that I'm so red now. I'm like so hyped.
I think that makes sense too, because the way that you just said all the networking as like a very positive thing is a really good tribute to your mindset, because I heard that and started getting scared. But you're like, we're going
no. Inside, like in my heart right now, I'm like terrified because the networking is horribly scary. But like when you think about it, like some of it's natural in that like I'm friends with a lot of people in Shenanigans, and if any of those people go into the industry, if I go into the industry, like we can all help each other. And it doesn't have to be like calling them, asking for favors like explicitly. It can just be like knowing someone and then telling them what's going on.
Lose connections.
Totally. It is scary. I feel like that's why it's like nice right now that we can all be like genuine friends, and then like that's what I feel like the favors thing, right? Because that's like the taboo, like scary thing is to ask.
You're like, oh, I don't want to ask for it.
Right, because you don't want to seem like you're just using somebody, right?
Especially if you're both vying for the same stuff at the moment, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, so that like because like I'm on the same thing, like right now I've just been grinding trying to get summer internships, so I'm trying to like network, but obviously since I'm still in college, I'm trying to network with like the actual like adult real people in like the adult real world, and like I'm doing that through like like my parents like helping me like network and like reach just like applications, Indeed.com, whatever. And it's so scary talking to like adult people with like real big person jobs. And it's like also when I graduate, the way that I won't be able to say like I'm a student, which I feel like is such a crutch to like
oh my god, yeah. Have you guys ever watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
What?
Have you ever watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
No. What is that? Is it a show?
It's a TV show musical thing by what's her name? Rachel Bloom?
Oh wait, I'm looking up right now.
I like the like.
Actually,
The
I was looking away because I was
yeah.
trying to remember. I know her character's name is Rebecca Bunch, but I forget what her name is.
Rachel Bloom.
That's
There
those
we go.
start with the
Nick
same
Wolfred.
letters. So
It
She's
does. I knew. Oh, what's up?
She's 5'3".
Oh, good to know.
me too, man.
That makes sense.
We out here.
Wow.
I know since
I was
neither of
gonna
you have seen me
say.
in person before.
Oh, are you
Fact.
5'3"?
Yeah.
That's a good
COVID
height. I'm
things.
5'4.5". The
Oh,
half
wow,
doesn't
we're
really
closer
matter.
than
I'm
I would have
basically
guessed.
5'4".
I'm like almost 5'9". I'm like pretty tall.
I
We'd be
know,
close.
because I've met you in person and you are very tall.
I have met. Wow, I just realized I have not met Melissa in person.
I know.
Your girl
Me
next.
either, man.
I've
But
only met,
anyways,
like
The reason I brought up
Cool.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is because there's this character that is a student in community college, and she apparently is like 30, and she's just like been taking every single class she possibly can at the community college just to remain a student. Because like whenever she interacts with people, they're like, you could get arrested for that. And she's like, no, I can't. I'm a student.
literally, but it's like scary because then like other like adults will like say like use this time like while you can say you're a student while you can, because like it's a crutch to fall back on, because that way you can say you're learning, you're like everything is like you're trying, it's just like an educational experience, so, like you can book
Right.
like informational interviews and you're not trying to get anything from them, you're just trying to like learn, and it's just all so intimidating and I feel like intricate, and it's gonna be a long road.
It is a long
Yeah.
road, yeah, and I'm very terrified.
Well, we believe in you.
yes.
Look at you. You're already like,
Yeah.
I hate this word, but you're already girl bossing it. You're like president.
Girl
I know
boss
you're.
alert.
And how long? When did
Ah.
you join Shenanigans? Did you join first year, or?
I joined freshman year winter quarter because fall quarter I accidentally scheduled classes during every single Shenanigans meeting.
Okay, so you've had some time. You worked up some like back material you can fall back on if you need to too. That's
Oh yeah, you mean like stand-up wise?
yeah.
Do you ever want to pursue
Going for
stand
it.
up?
I'm less like interested in being a professional stand-up comedian and more interested in being like a comedy writer of shows or sketches.
Right.
However, I don't know. I don't hate stand-up. I just don't know that that's like my goal. I know I have friends who are like, I want to have an hour-long special and I want to
Right.
be traveling around performing all the time. That's not necessarily my goal, but I wouldn't say no if someone was like, do you want to go on tour with John Mulaney? Like, no one's ever going to ask me that. But if they did, I'd be like, sure.
Right.
Sure.
Stand up to
I
me
think that
is
would be fun.
so just that is like I mean I've been to a few meetings and I've tried it a couple times, but it is such a skill that is just, it's very unique and it's so challenging. I feel like honestly a lot of the sectors of like comedy writing is like a whole thing in and of itself, but then you have like improv, which is like its own beast, more like theater oriented.
Yeah.
And then there's like stand up. Like I couldn't even imagine for an hour memorizing my jokes to a T where I could perfectly deliver them knowing they're going to hit for like an hour. Like that's so impressive to me.
I mean, I think it's probably easier for people who have more like story-based things such that one leads to another, or like if they've written really good transitions. But if it's just bit after bit after bit, then it starts to seem like more of a Herculean task. But I feel like a lot of the stand-up specials are pretty like cohesive in that way.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's easy. It's still probably really hard, but it probably makes it slightly easier knowing that the end of one joke leads to another.
Right. That makes sense.
Having joined stand-up during Zoom, I am also very terrified of just memorizing like 5-minute bits or sets. So I agree that like the fact that people can just talk for that long, I feel like I would carry throat lozenges around everywhere. Like
Literally.
That's why they have the water bottle on the stool.
I do love the artful, like they all have their own way of going for the water bottle, you know?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just as distinct as their people talk about like personas. I want to see how they go for their water bottle. I'll tell me more about them. But yeah, that's interesting.
Very true.
My favorite ever stand-up show that I went to for Shenanigans, this is hands down because it was the most bizarre, just like
Don't say, are you gonna say Steven?
fever dream was I think you were there, Jess, and I think I might have performed. It was at like this like Comic-Con, like Covell Commons, like it was like centered around like anime and like superheroes, and like it was like a convention, and for whatever reason, Shenanigans like performed some stand-up sets, but everyone had to kind of like change it so that way like theirs kind of fit around like superheroes and
Was
stuff.
this the Geek Week thing?
Yes.
I didn't go to that, but I know what you're talking about.
It was okay. So basically, to paint a picture, like in like one of the like y'all know the like Covell Commons, like one of the ballrooms on the hill. It was I think in Deneb was like hosting this Geek Week thing, and like it was just like a convention for like all things like cartoons and like animations and like superheroes and all that kind of stuff.
Star
But
Wars.
And
yeah.
Star Wars, right? All the
With-
classics. And Shenanigans was like performing, and I think I did one sketch. It was like a blackout. I barely remember what it was even about. I actually have no idea, but I think I had like one line and it was super quick. And then we had some people come and do stand up, and it was just so, like Hayden performed and Jack performed, and I just remember what made it the funniest was like there was maybe like 10 people there in this whole ballroom. Like it was very empty. And like Jack and Hayden had to quickly like revise their set so it like made sense to Geek Week. And they were like almost laughing at their own bits. Long story short, it was just such a fever dream of a time. I literally peed. I don't know if Jack told this joke or if it was Hayden, but there was one joke where I literally peed my pants. My pants. I was sitting in the front row. It literally, I think I remember it literally stained like the material on the chair. And I didn't tell anybody. And I think I had a jacket. And I just like quickly wrapped it around my waist. And I was like trying to cover the rest of the times. I definitely didn't sit back in that chair. But that's like
Did someone else? Did you?
nobody said a word. Now I don't know if that was out of the kindness of their hearts, but nobody mentioned anything. So as far as I know, no one suspected a thing.
Okay.
I doubt anyone would ever be like, you remember that time when I checked your chair after you got up?
Peed.
Because here's the thing, if someone comes up to you and they're like, I checked your chair and there was a wet spot, then you have the ammo of why the fuck were you checking my chair? You know?
Exactly. So anyways, that's one of my fondest like stand-up Shenanigans moments. Because they like Jack and Hayden, they like killed it. I wish more people were there. It was so funny.
They're really funny. That it's good to know there was something before the COVID tests in there.
Oh my god, I know. I just can't wait. Did you guys see the email that they're like gonna open up all of the hill in the fall?
Yeah.
Yes, one of the best emails I've received.
So are you gonna live in the hill?
No.
That's fair.
I know. I did for 2 quarters. I like having to walk 5 feet to get food versus like a mile. So pros and cons.
Having a kitchen is nice.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Jess, are you planning on staying around Westwood or are you gonna move out?
It really depends. I think I will be one of 3 places though. I will either be in Los Angeles still, and if so, probably Westwood until like the end of the summer, and then somewhere cheaper after that, or New York or Davis, California.
Is that your hometown?
That is my hometown. Yeah.
So in New York, I also want to move there directly after college.
Me too.
It's a great time. I have a friend of the family who keeps trying to convince me to move to New York. Every time someone mentions New York, he's like, you got to come here and visit and stay in my apartment and you can see all the sights and then you're going to love it and then you're going to live here and then you're going to be here forever and you're going to love it.
Dude, do it. It's got such a great comedy scene.
It does.
Yeah.
It also just is a great city. I've been there exactly once and it was glorious. It was a great time.
I was technically born there. So I'm a native, I guess. I did move
Good
to
things come
California.
from New York.
Yeah, exactly. I was technically I moved here when I was 1. So it was a short time. It was a short amount of time, but still born there, and then I've been there like once since then, but it was amazing. I loved it.
I have this image in my head of like every baby born in New York is just dressed automatically in one of those I Heart New York shirts. Like they gotta claim it, you know? Because if you're a New York native, that's something to be proud of. So
I agree.
yeah.
I feel like the hospital should definitely use baby blankets that say I Heart NY, and then the heart is just like the little like light pink and blue stripes.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cute.
We should another email. Just
Another email. So, are you writing this down, Melissa?
I do. I have a list. I promise. I'm a good drafter too.
Good.
I had a question. So you said you do not to change the subject too much, but you said you do a cappella, and I want to know if you had any aspect of your college experience that really lived up to the bar that Pitch Perfect set. Like, did you
Oh,
have the Pitch Perfect experience? In-
absolutely. We did the competition that they do in Pitch Perfect.
that's real.
Oh yeah, the ICCAs are real. We do them every year. My sophomore year was the first year we actually did it because my group is fairly young, and we did okay. But it was insane. Like it's a 12-minute long singing and dancing on stage at Bridges
Wow.
Auditorium and at Pomona. It has been in Royce Hall before, but this particular year and all the years I did it, it was at Bridges. All the years twice because COVID. But we did it
She
there,
sings.
and then what?
I just said she sings.
Oh.
I don't know. Sorry, keep going.
I try at least. And then the following year, we did it again at, we did it again at the same auditorium, Free Britney. And we made it to semifinals, and then semifinals were canceled due to COVID. So we could have won finals, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
We
it
could have. We
sounds like
didn't.
I think then you got like the fourth movie. You know, do they have four? Is it four?
No, there's three.
Okay. So then you did the fourth movie, like COVID edition, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think I would go out on a limb and say I'm Anna Kendrick in this situation. There, you know how there's, I don't know how well you guys have,
I love the movie.
or
Yeah.
okay, good. So you remember, you know how there's those two girls named like Audrey and Jessica or something,
Yes.
and they never like specify which is which, and they like make fun of that in the movies.
Yes.
I feel like I'd be Jessica.
Oh my God. Whichever one Jessica is.
Whichever one she is, the one they always forget, and they're like, "Where'd you guys come from?" And they're like, "We've literally been here the whole time." That's me.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's such a good movie. I gotta go rewatch it now that you brought that back up. I can't. All I remember is Horizontal Running. That's the one that sticks with me.
Most of it aged really well. Some of it didn't quite, but it's still worth a watch because the humor it comes at you fast and furious.
I do think it's so good. I remember so vividly watching it for the first time, being like, "Is this even gonna be that good? Like, what even is this? Pitch Perfect a cappella?" And then I watched it, and I was like, "That was an incredible film."
Can I share a fun fact about it?
Yes.
I went to see it in theaters with my grandparents because they thought it was going to be a documentary about choral singing. And
How did they get in that impression?
What is
we're like, look, there's singing groups in the advertisement.
Yeah, next to the
So-
drinking teens.
So we went there,
Young
and this
adults.
was just the funniest video. Also, I think the first PG-13 movie, I said video, I meant movie, that I have ever seen. It was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And I was like, damn, I'm so glad we came to this. And my grandma was like, well, that was a hoot.
Oh my gosh.
Good
Wait,
time.
what is choral singing?
Oh, like like a choir, chorus singing.
I want to know what you pictured instead, or did you not have? Was it just?
Were
a
you picturing
question?
The Little Mermaid? I just want to know if you were picturing The Little Mermaid.
I did. The color coral just kept popping in my brain. It was like blocking
love
all
it.
other aspects of my thoughts, and all I could see was the color, and I was very confused.
When I picture like a piece of choral singing, I just picture a very SpongeBob-esque landscape, and then
Yes.
some like tiny sea creature just being like, meh.
Oh my gosh, I would watch a documentary about that.
Oh my
Easy.
god, a SpongeBob, like a documentary made by the character SpongeBob about a singing piece of coral in its adventure to find fame.
Okay, another email, I guess, that we're writing to.
And also, sorry, I did not.
Oh yeah, to go.
I'm so sorry. I need to work on this.
No, go.
I was gonna say, and I think the entertainment prospects are getting better. This is one Zoom section. And look how many stellar ideas.
Literally.
So,
Well,
I think there should be a prequel movie called Patrick Star, and he just like lives up to his name over the course of the movie and becomes a star.
oh my god. These ideas are so good though. Like I would genuinely watch all of these.
I know. Is that what he did with the boots? The boot outfit? Like, I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
Oh,
So
me
I've only
either.
seen memes. Okay, I'm glad I found a fellow sheltered child. But
That's very accurate.
yeah. But so all I've seen is the memes, and there's that one picture of him with the boots, and I have no context. But
So I was that for Halloween my freshman year
Beautiful.
at UCLA. And basically that's the Goofy Goober Rock show number that ends the SpongeBob movie from 2004.
Oh wait, I
Uh,
have seen that.
It's a very iconic scene. It's a very iconic movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I grew up on
That's the
SpongeBob.
David Hasselhoff one, right?
Yes, it is. And
Okay, I definitely
I
saw that.
want to watch it. Would you look at the
Office in it?
everyone? I'm sorry to say, but I think
Wow.
we have to start winding down. I
Yeah.
think we have like about a minute left, maybe less.
That flew by.
That flew by. Jessica,
Woo!
thank you so much for being on the show today, for coming on and joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being an awesome president.
Yes.
So
Thank you guys for being awesome in general.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for all the work you've done with Shenanigans. We wish you
Yes.
luck on your graduation adventure.
we
Whew,
wish you
thanks,
success
man.
that we can then capitalize off of.
Yes.
Oh yes. If I am successful, I will let both of you capitalize off of it as much as you.
Woo! Melissa, we're
Thank
set.
you. I know, we're so good.
I will say though, my bet still stands, and I doubt I will be the first one.
Wouldn't speak
So,
too soon. Would
yeah.
not speak too soon.
Only good vibes in here.
Only good vibes. And
Only
with
good
that,
vibes.
with that, we must end the show, everybody. What is our exit? We need to
We
work
need to
on
come up with something. For right now, we're going backwards.
Oh, back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you later.